Diane in Denmark here, and we made it through the first 2 weeks of Bahookie camp, and we're on to week 3. It's Monday, and remember you can watch these videos anytime you like. You may need a little Bahookie camp halfway through the year, not just in January. I'm doing it in January because last year I did the 31 baby step series, you know, the Flylady's 31 baby steps. And I walked you and pulled you through each of the steps. And I know a lot of you have really seen big changes in your life after doing that. And, you know, we all need a little refresher course, and we all, you know, this thing at the end of the year, we're kind of looking to the next year, we're looking forward and setting goals and New Year's resolutions. I don't set New Year's resolutions really because it's funny to think it now, but I'm actually quite content with my lot. You know, I mean, things aren't perfect, but, you know, my house is fairly clean. I've got a good idea of what I'm doing and supposed to be doing, and I'm getting there. You know, this thing that I keep on saying about putting one foot in front of the other. Anyway, in the first week of Bahookie camp, we looked, you know, we dusted off if we had a control journal. Or we just took a piece of paper and or a notebook. This is my notebook, and we actually wrote down the routines that we're supposed to be doing. You know, morning routine and evening routine. You know, making sure that you're dressed to shoes. Got my shoes on today, and just looking at all these little things that are going to help us to get through our day, whether we're having a good day or a bad day. Especially on the bad days, that's when the routines really help us. So that's what we did in week 1. We were looking at what we need to do on a daily basis to keep ourselves afloat and to keep the house running. You know, your home and your family, what you need to do. So that was week 1. And then last week we got out our pom-poms and we set our timer, trusty timer, for the golden 15 minutes, and we spent 15 minutes in each of the Flylady zones around the house. Remember, Flylady, you know, Marla, she breaks down the house into 5 different zones, and that doesn't matter if you have a tiny apartment or a huge estate. You can break up your home into the zones, but of course, if you have a tiny apartment, then you probably don't have much to clean, and if you have a huge house, that entails more work. That's just the way it is. I mean, I can't make that go away, but I can make it easier for you knowing how to do it and just to set your timer and do something. Anyway, that was week 2, and I loved seeing on Instagram last week, people were decluttering spaces that they'd never decluttered before, or cleaned things that they'd never thought of cleaning, had maybe cleaned their windows. So carry on with that. It was brilliant, and you were all, you know, posting your outfits. Remember, if you want to find me and the others on Instagram, it's Diane in Denmark, or use the hashtag Diane in Denmark, and you'll see what everybody's posting, what they're having for dinner, and because we're all kind of nosy, aren't we? We want to see what everybody else is doing. Anyway, week 3, and today I want to talk about health and fitness. Now, don't all go running away, but I know, you know, before I would, you know, when it came around to the new year, and I want to do this, want to do that. You know, and you set these goals, you set these really high goals, and what happens is, you know, 3 weeks later, it doesn't happen. It's like when you start a new diary and you plot in all the dates, and then about 3 weeks later, you don't even look in it. So, and I've learned just to go the way of, you know, the Flylady way, which is, you know, setting a goal. Like, say for example, your goal was to have, you know, a clean and tidy house. That was what my goal was with Flylady. That's all fine and well, but you've got to break it up into smaller chunks. So what do I need to do on a monthly basis to achieve that? What do I need to do on a weekly basis to achieve that? And what do I need to do on a daily basis to achieve that? And that's what I use now if there's something that, you know, something that I want to improve on. All through this Bahookie camp, I've talked about we're not making huge changes here. We're making small changes because we just want a new, improved version of ourselves. You know, we just want a little upgrade. And I've been thinking about health and fitness, and you know me, I'm out on my bike. I was down this morning, and I don't know if you noticed my hair today, I'm a bit dishevelled because when we went for our bike ride and skinny dip in the sea this morning, it was 1 degrees Celsius, which is like 39, I think. And it was -1, oh sorry, no, sea temperature was 1, and it was -1 Celsius outside, but the wind chill factor was -9, which I think is 19F. Anyway, we were blown all over the place and there were huge waves, and we really had to take care this morning. I mean, I know I've talked about winter bathing before, and it may have this kind of romantic notion of, you know, oh, you go into the sea and you come out. This morning we really had to take care, watch the other people there. You know, you never swim alone, especially in a day like this, because the force of the waves can, you know, knock you against the bathing steps, and there are ropes there to actually hold on to so you can pull yourself back in, and that's what it was like this morning. But you know, I feel alive and it's done. And these last few weeks I've not been so good at getting on my bike and going down for my swim, because we were on the run up to Christmas, and I didn't want to let my winter bathing slip, because winter bathing for me is you know, like a pressure cooker. When my pressure builds up, I feel like I'm going to explode. And winter bathing for me, that gives me that chance to let off steam. So I was determined to keep going with my winter bathing, even though, you know, we were getting ready for Christmas and there were events to go to, and things were all very exciting. So, but instead of cycling down for winter bathing, I took the car. Quite often in the morning, I would just jump into the car. It was a quick way to get there, and that way I could keep my winter bathing going. But it's now the new year, Christmas has passed, and I need to get back on my bike, which is what I did this morning with my bestie, Vibeke. And I took an extra puff of my inhaler this morning because I have asthma, and it's really tough when, you know, it's like -10 Celsius, 19F. You know, when you're trying to breathe on the bike going down, you know, I had a scarf covering my nose. Anyway, all this just to say to you, I am setting some small goals for myself. And my goal is that, you know, I'm quite good about taking my bike. You know, I use it for errand day. You've seen me when I've been doing errand day videos. I'm out on my bike and going to the library and the supermarket. But I need to set a daily goal for myself to get outside, either on my bike or just a quick walk around the block every day, you know, if I'm not already out doing other stuff, because that also helps me to pull through this winter, not winter depression, but the blah days that we get. Because if you see it today, we're not going to, there's going to be no sunshine, you know, for the next 7 days, and it's dark from 4 o'clock in the afternoon till 8:30 in the morning. So for me, I need to be outside. I need to just physically get outside for 15 minutes a day. And I just wanted to give you a few little tips. If you're in the same boat and, you know, you want to start getting a bit more exercise or eating more healthy, we've got to break it down into small chunks and break it down into small daily habits, daily routines. So for me, I'm going to add it, you know, physically to my daily routine, that I am outside for at least 15 minutes. And normally it's not a problem, it's just the getting started again and getting into the routine. One of the things that really helped me was hearing Marla when she did one of the radio shows, oh gosh, years ago. It was even before she was on Blog Talk. It was that other thing that she did along with Leanne. And she was talking about, you know, getting out and getting some exercise, because we all need to get our exercise. And one of the tricks that you can use, just like a Jedi Mind Trick, is you set your timer for seven minutes, okay? And you can pop your timer in your pocket or use it on your telephone, whatever you've got. What you do is you here you would get all bundled up because it's freezing outside. I had my earmuffs on and my bike helmet and my scarf, and I had a coat and a thermal jacket underneath that and 2 pairs of socks. Anyway, you get all bundled up, set your timer for 7 minutes, and you just walk out the door. You know, if you've still got small kids, you know, that's what I used to do with mine. Get them into the pram, get them into the buggy, get them onto, you know, skateboard, whatever you've got, and just get them all bundled up and say, okay, we're going out for 7 minutes. So you're already tricking your mind. So you go outside, just walk around the block, you know, stay safe out there. We need to, you know, put on like little lights or whatever because it's so dark here. You walk for 7 minutes, and then when the timer goes off, you turn around and walk back home again. And that way you get 15 minutes of extra, or 14 and a half, 15 minutes, without in your head it being 15 minutes. Like it feels only like 7 minutes. And it's just, I mean, if you don't believe me, try it, it really works. And you can use that for anything. It's the same thing if, you want to get a bit more exercise. If you've got a treadmill in your house, just say, you know, I'm going to do 7 minutes, and then the rest will be cool down time. And then you'll walk another 7 minutes on the treadmill when you've stopped. So just try and use the timer like we do for everything else. And even if you can't do 7 minutes to begin with, just say, you know what, I'm going to go outside for 2 minutes. Yeah, just go outside, walk outside for 2 minutes and then come back. And then at least you'll have started that ball rolling. And that's the really important part, because once we get the ball rolling, we've got a bit of momentum going, and then it's much easier. The other thing is, if you're going to do something like this, try and get it into your day as early as possible. You know, if you're not doing the walking for 7 minutes and coming home 7 minutes, try walking to the next bus stop, so getting onto the bus a stop late, so that you get a little bit of extra walk. I've talked about this before, taking the stairs at the office instead of taking the elevators. I mean, when I used to work at the Court of Justice in Luxembourg, we had quite high floors, so I would take the stairs up and down. That was good extra exercise. Another thing, if you can use little triggers for yourself, I talked about this with one of the ladies I was mentoring when I was a mentor at Flylady Premium. Use these little triggers for yourself. If you're working in the office, say to yourself, before I have my lunch, you know, whether you've got a packed lunch or whether you go to the canteen, you say do once or twice up and down the stairs at the office. Because that way it kind of links it together in your head. And also you will discover that if you kind of, you know, do your exercise just before you have your lunch or before you go to the canteen, because your body has done something, you know, a bit of exercise, something a bit healthy, you'll find that you'll eat better afterwards. You know, you won't say, oh, you know, now I'm going to have the huge plate of chips, you know, French fries, and you might actually take a bit healthier option. And it's just because our mind is in that set, well, you know, I've actually done something quite good, so I want to keep that rolling. Now, I've got an itchy nose again this morning. Let me put my timer down. I've had a lot of questions about, you see me wearing this in most of my videos. This is my Fitbit. Oh, gosh, I'm already onto the second bar so far. A lot of you have asked what kind of Fitbit I have and what it is. I got my Fitbit in, it would be I'm making these videos in January, and I got my Fitbit in, which was this, it came with a little black strap. I must have got it in March, because I got it because my daughter got one for my DD15, my dear daughter, age 15. She got a Fitbit for her birthday. That was something she had wished for. And then she said, Mum, can't you get one and we can, you know, compete? So then I got one. And the one that I've got, I'll just show you. It's I went for the cheapest Fitbit because, you know me, I can't Scott, I hate spending money. And what it is it's a little bracelet. This is a rubber one, and it comes with a little chip inside. Hold on, let's see if I can make there you go, there it's lighting up, and it shows you how far you are with your steps for the day. Now, and I just went for the cheapest one because it's also, it's the only one that's waterproof, so I can actually swim in, take my skinny dip in the morning without having to take it off. I can just leave it on. Most of them are not waterproof, but I mean, I'm not doing large amounts of swimming with it. It's not for measuring the swimming, it's easier for me. You can wear it in the shower or wear it in the sea. And because I was using it all the time, I like to kind of be matchy-matchy with my outfits. And I found on eBay I could get some really cheap other plastic bracelets. So my daughter and I, we've got a few that we can kind of use between us. And don't ask me where I bought them. It was just something I found on eBay. I'm sure you can find something similar. Anyway, the Fitbit I have, I think is called the Flex 2. I'll check and I'll write it in the video information. I don't need it. Let's put it that way. You do not need a Fitbit. But it has been fun, and it does help to track my steps. Basically what this one does, because you can get ones that can talk to UFOs and make the coffee and all those kind of things. My one tracks steps. So, your steps for the day. And, there's an app, you can download an app to your smartphone or your tablet, and you can put in yourself, how many steps you think you need for the day and, your little goal. My goal is 10,500 steps per day. And normally on a day when I'm doing something like weekly home blessing hour and when I'm out doing errands, I can easily get my steps in sometimes by lunchtime. But you just go for whatever many steps you need to get. I can't remember what the recommended is. I think it's like 8,000 a day. Anyway, but I have a lot of nervous energy and I can't kind of sit still. And as my friend Vibeke said, it's also because I speak with my hands, so I probably get a lot more when I'm sitting here recording a video. The thing that I do like about the Fitbit is when I'm working at the computer, most of the time I'm working at the computer, you can set it to give you a reminder, and the reminder is that it will vibrate if you haven't done, say, 250 steps per hour. And that's been an eye-opener for me because sometimes I think, okay, I'm going to work on whatever project I'm working on, and I'm sitting at the computer. And normally, with the Flylady Zones, I know to take breaks. But you know how it is, you kind of get onto the computer and then I'm checking stuff, and then suddenly, I get that little jolt when it vibrates and think, I need to. So then, I can get up, go and get a glass of water, walk up and down the stairs just for a couple of minutes. So in that way, it's really good because it's a bit like having somebody sitting on your shoulder saying, hold on, weren't you meant to be moving? That I really like about it. When I first got it, of course, I went a bit overboard because it tells you what time you go to bed and what time you're restless during the night. And it is quite good in a way, because if you're one of those people that sits up, a mombi. You know what a mombi is? Like a mum who doesn't get to bed because you're just kind of sitting there vegetating in front of the television or with your iPad or your smartphone without getting some real rest. That was quite an eye-opener, because it shows you the time that you're physically, kind of lying flat and not doing anything. And also if you're tossing and turning during the night. That's quite interesting, but now I don't bother sleeping with it because, I've got my routines, and I am like dying on my feet by 9:30 at night and heading to bed. You'll see that on Instagram. I'm always heading to bed early with a book. So I used that in the beginning, not so much now, but the main thing that I like it for now is during the week I have no problem getting my steps in. I'm always on the go. The weekends I'm not so active, So it's a good reminder to get up and do something every hour. But as I said, there's no need to have one of them. If you feel like it, we do have to make things fun. If you feel like it's fun to get one of those, go ahead. One of the things that I have seen some of my friends doing is that you can get together in a group and you can challenge each other. And that's a great way to do it, because with all these things, if we have like a little community, it's always fun to work alongside each other. And the other funny thing is that it will give you notifications, send you email notifications, and it'll say, hey Diane, you have just walked the, from when you started your Fitbit, you have now walked the length of New Zealand, which is kind of funny because I'm meeting up with my one of my oldest friends, who is somebody I met when my DS18, my dear son 18, I didn't say DS17, my DS18, when he started school, he was in my class with a girl, and it's her mum, and I'm meeting her for dinner tonight, and she's from New Zealand, so it's kind of funny when I got this notification saying I'd walked the full length of New Zealand. Anyway, that aside, if you feel like it's a good investment for you, why not? But a really good thing is to team up with a friend for any kind of exercise. I mean, I have friends, they meet every day or every second day and walk in the woods. You've seen me, if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I'm down with my besties winter bathing in the morning. When you have that connection to somebody else, it just gives you that extra accountability, and that's what we need here. We need some kind of accountability, whether it is a Fitbit or an app, or just logging in with us every day on Instagram and saying, hey, I did it, So anyway, I've been talking for far too long, but my Fitbit's going to be saying to me, get off your Bahookie. We're going to be doing some other things this week, little challenges. But anyway, that was just some ideas on what I'm going to be doing at least this month. I need to up my exercise a bit. The eating for me is okay. Might try and add some more fruit and vegetables, but anyway, let's see how it works out. Anyway, that was it for me, Diane in Denmark. Remember, give yourselves a rah with whatever you do, whether it is shining your sink or looking at your outfit for tomorrow, or signing up for a marathon this year. Whatever it is, you can do, and you will get there just by doing it in baby steps. Right, anyway, that's it for me. Live long and prosper, and see you tomorrow for the next step in the Bahookie camp. Okay, bye for now.